Okay, everybody, good morning and welcome to the Essential Lessons for Sales Professionals and Managers. My name is Sharon Shaw. I'm the president with Integrator Support. Most of you I've been working quite a bit with. Some of you are new, so just want to thank you all for attending today. I know how valuable your time is, and I appreciate you carving out this time to be with us. What we're looking at today is a progress report that we will want to walk through and fill out. Basically, where we're at is we're almost done with the first quarter of 2013 already, which is crazy. So you guys have attended something like 10 or 12 of these webinar sessions already, and a lot of you are making progress. Some of you faster than others, some of you slower than others, and what we're trying to do is just get a really good pulse on where you are as an individual, as an employee of your company. How do you feel about these solutions? How do you feel about our offerings? How do you feel about the general market and acceptance of these new services? So that's really what we're about to do today, is be reflective. And so I'm going to walk you through the process and just sort of explain where you should measure yourself based on certain categories that we're going to want to look at and focus on to ensure that you're moving in the direction you intend to. And similarly, prior to this call, we had a call with all of the owners and managers of your companies. And so what we're doing with them is a similar survey. Some of the questions are word for word the same. Some of them are different based upon your unique perspective. But the idea is what we'd like to do is take responses from the owners of your company and your responses, and anybody else on your sales team that you feel should be responding to this survey, feel free to forward this link to them as well. The key is that we just want to get as much of your input as possible, so that way we're able to really accurately gauge, what you think is right, what you think is wrong, and same thing for the people who own your company. That will help us all get aligned. It will help move things along and establish some accountability. And it will also provide me some tangible feedback on areas that we can better support you. So this is really your tool. There's no right or wrong answers here. So on the area of how to err, I would say err on the side of being harsh. I don't want to have any, kind of disciplinary action or anything like that come about as a result of this survey. It's not intended to do that. But it will help us make sure that if you don't feel you have the resources, or if you don't think you're getting compensated fairly, or if you feel that there's something that you don't understand, this is going to give us that intel so we can act on it and better support you, better support your company, and help communicate that up the chain to your company owner. They're filling out this survey, so then we can take their responses and how they feel things are going and help gauge that and convey that to you. So this will be a very important tool. We'll do this on a quarterly basis, and I'd expect that throughout the next few months we'll make a lot of progress. But this will highlight some of the areas that we really need to work on. So let's go ahead and get started. This part's pretty easy. Just fill out your company name, your contact information. Make sure you include all your contact information. I know I didn't put it as a required field, and maybe I should have, but make sure you do that so I know this with getting that stuff accomplished. So it's broken into, I think this one's 5 or 6 sections. I wouldn't say this should take you more than an hour or so to complete at the longest. I would do it when you're feeling, feeling good, feeling creative, feeling, like you've got some time to spend with it. That way you don't rush through it. It's not just a task to be done. This is going to really help you, get the support you need and help you communicate your needs up through your chain. And similarly, it will help us to do the reversal. So the first section is sort of how you feel about managed services, if you will. Do you believe in it? Okay, the first question is, do you believe that these services are truly the best solutions for your customers? And I think that most of you, are probably somewhere in here. And I'm not saying that this is the right fit for every single customer. That's not what I'm getting at. But the idea is that you have to believe that these are truly solutions to a lot of the problems that they're facing. If you have retail customers that are continuously getting, smash and grab incidents, and they're looking for a solution, so not only do they have some recorded video after one of these incidents occurs, but also to prevent these things from occurring and to prevent some of the damages and losses. We have some of those answers, but if you don't, for whatever reason, feel video analytics are important or feel that these solutions are right, be honest, okay, and tell us where you stand. Regardless of how you feel about the services and how they meet the expectations and needs of your customers, the next thing to consider is, are you the right person to be positioning this to your customer base? Do you feel that your skill set, your ability to, kind of identify solutions sort of in your customer's terms, and not being so focused on big projects? And you probably do know what the expectation is. If they've been just saying kind of do your best, probably not, okay? And these are the kinds of things that we can help be an advocate on your behalf and try to assist maybe the owners of your company and really identifying what those goals should look like. And then similarly, are they achievable? The next question down here is, do you feel confident that you can achieve the goals that have been set before you? So if you don't know what they are, probably put not at all. If you do know what the goals are, and maybe you're looking at it, you're a quarter into the year, and you're thinking, gosh, I'm not a quarter into the goal, what do I do? You need to work on some things. There's still a lot of time left in 2013. And that's why we're doing this now, so that way we can really crank it out in this next quarter and start really promoting it, start really getting you guys moving forward, get some customers on the bandwagon, and then it will all grow from there. Do you know how you'll be compensated once you meet your goals? Okay, so maybe your owner has come to you and said, we want to generate X in RMR, but did that put more money in your pocket? And if so, do you know how much? If you sell a project without any recurring monthly revenue, do you know how much commission you're missing out on? Is that something that you think about on a regular basis, is how much money you could be earning if only that customer had bought a managed access system or signed up for a virtual guarding service? Do you understand and feel comfortable with the contractual language in the contract you're using? If nobody's shown you the contract you're supposed to use, but not at all. If you've glanced at it, but not really read through it, put not at all. If you've read through it and you understand it, put somewhat. If you've read through it, you understand it, and you feel you could articulate what each paragraph means to your clients, I would say mostly. If you've executed contracts and successfully answered questions about them and been able to maybe negotiate specific terms, then you'd probably be a candidate to put absolutely in that measurement. The next thing is to take a moment and summarize your efforts to really prepare yourself for transitioning to this sales model? Have you gotten, have you sought out the information and the training and the tools that you need to be successful? Have you, planted the seed with a couple of customers to see what their responses are? Have you played around with different approaches? Have you started using any resources that we've provided with regards to the promotion and sales? What are your biggest challenges and concerns with regards to this preparation? Have you felt like, well, I look for the information, I don't know where to find it, or it's so much for me to learn, I just don't know where to begin? Or is it that you don't have enough time in the day? Maybe you feel like, I have all of these other obligations, all of these other measurements. This is just one of 20 things I'm measured on. I'm going to focus to what I know and what I do best. Be honest. What are your concerns? And how can we assist you in feeling closer and closer to this absolutely range to the answers of these questions? Do you have questions that are keeping you from really buying in that these services are good fit for your customers? Do you feel that there's something we can do to make you better positioned as an individual to sell these services? Do you know what, if you don't know what your sales goals are, maybe we can help you, with establishing some of those goals and giving you sort of a range of, companies of this size or people with this kind of volume typically net, X by the end of this period of time. We can give you some ballparks to help you more accurately do that. Do you feel confident in achieving your sales goals? So again, is there something we can do to help you get confident with that? And do you know how you'll be rewarded? So if you don't, again, just let us know if there's something you want us to communicate. All these categories look at what can get me from here to there. I'm not sure why this isn't taking my answers. There we go. Okay, in this next section, please rank your level of confidence with regards to your sales preparation. So has your company established a package for equipment that is supposed to be tied into managed services? Have you guys specified, this is the video system we're going to use for virtual guarding. This is the access control system we're going to lead with. This is, how we're going to price these things. Is that stuff established in your company? Service packages. Do you know which service you plan to sell? Or are you already starting to package these things together? The reason I bring this up is because, those two things go hand in hand. The equipment ties into what services you plan to sell and vice versa. Now, if you have a virtual guarding service, sometimes our dealers want to focus on a specific area. I have some that only want to do like the high-end guard replacement. They don't want to sell anything for less than $1,000 a month. Then I have some dealers that really like that, basic, 50 event package where they can go to 100 different places and position it, and they feel that's how they're going to reach their goal. So do you know where your packages are? Do you know which services you're going to be leading with? Do you know, which hardware packages are associated with those solutions? Project financing. Do you feel that you're comfortable with, submitting an application, giving your customer an explanation of what financing is, how it can be advantageous to them, how it can, help them save money and get more for their dollar? Do you feel comfortable, providing them with the application to fill out? Do you, know who your contacts are for financing? So that way, if you have questions that come up and you don't know how to answer them, you have that person's point of contact in your database so you can call them and get some assistance when you need to. If you don't, then you're probably not in place or underdeveloped. How about your sales tools? We have a variety of different things for you guys to leverage. We have PowerPoints you can use. We have, the sales calculators, the pricing estimates that you can leverage. We have so many brochures and the sales manual itself. How do you feel about using these tools? Have they been presented to you? Do you know what they are? Have you used them? Rate your level of confidence in the sales tools. Sales training. Is this something that you have been keeping up on? Are you attending our weekly webinars? Have you been trained by the various manufacturers for the technology packages that you're using? Have you been trained, internally with your company about how you're supposed to mark these things up and how you're supposed to position them? Have you been trained on, just the general process of how to generate the purchase order, how to, submit your proposals and things like that? And then lastly, please rank the importance of each managed service listed below. So you have 1, 2, 3, or 4. Those are the 4 that I know of: virtual guarding, managed access, hosted video, and system maintenance. Just tell us which of these you feel are the most important, and just rank them in order. I'd say number 1 is your most important, number 2, number 3, number 4. But you can change that if you feel that's 3. You can put this as 2. You can change them up as you feel you need to. Please take a moment to summarize your past and current sales efforts. What materials have you used? Have you leveraged the Integrator Support Sales Manual? So, just give us some information. Write a paragraph. Tell us in your own words, I've tried talking to 5 people about this. This is what happened. Or I have yet to submit a proposal. Or I'm selling this stuff. We're going gangbusters over here. Just let us know what your efforts have looked like, and what did you use, and how did it go. If you don't know what our sales manual is, if you don't have materials from us, you should. And that's something you should write in here is, I don't have anything, I don't know what you're talking about, and we'll be sure to send you what you need. How much recurring revenue have you personally generated for managed security services? So don't use like your year-to-date numbers or anything like that. Give us your monthly revenue numbers, because that's how we measure RMR, is based on that monthly contracted revenue. So how much have you netted, or growth I should say, in virtual guarding and these different categories? Let us know, what you've been selling and how much. And then if there's something I forgot, is fine to use if there's something else that I didn't think of. Have you been participating in these weekly seminars? Are you regularly on? Do you sometimes try? Do you not know what this is? So obviously, for those of you that are on, you're either sometimes or yes. But these links, I'm sure, will be forwarded to folks that have yet to attend. Have you been participating in a weekly sales call with Integrator Support? Meaning, do we have something that's a standing appointment on your calendar where we review your pipeline, we talk about what you've been working on, we find out how different customers have responded to the different proposals. Are we really working on a weekly basis to move things along and stay in touch and keep you moving forward in this path? I'm just going to put some basic figures here because these are required fields. The next section is more about promotion and marketing. Please rate your company in the following area of marketing and promotion for managed security services. So are you guys using our weekly email campaign? Remember, we have our 411 program. Our 4 emails each month going out to your customers. Are you doing a monthly webinar to your customers? Have you been sending out any kind of snail mail pieces in the mail to highlight these things? Does your website show that you have these services available? Are you using your social media connections and outlets to educate and keep people up to date on what's going on? And beyond all of these things, if you could summarize what you've done to really promote these services in the past. And then lastly, if you could describe any challenges or concerns you have in the area of marketing. Some people feel like, well, I've got so many different verticals that I cover, I just feel like, it's hard to find one message that works for everybody. That might be a concern. It might be a concern that you don't want to bombard your customers with email blasts. It could be a concern that you don't have an email system and you need some support in sending out the email blast, all of which we can help you with, okay? So we can help develop vertical market specific programs if that's what we need to do. We can help send and create your email campaigns on your behalf. All this content we have available for you to use, but if you have any concerns about how to use it or why or what it talks about, it's all very flexible. And we're willing to work with you to make it more along what you need, but we need to know what we need to change. So this is your chance, everybody, to submit what you want us to change. Please rank your vertical market reach. So similarly, what is your number 1, number 2, number 3, vertical market? What do you sell the most of? Rate your company on a scale from 1 to 10 on how you feel you're able to compete. Now this one, I don't know why this showed up this way. I think I need to tweak the settings on this. But let us know if you feel that you are a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. How do you rate in comparison to your competitors in your market in competing with regards to selling these services? Does ADT have a really big presence in your market? Does Protection One, or is it smaller companies, small burglar alarm companies and central stations, mom and pops that are, kind of primed for this promotion? And then if you could rank your company's current ability to promote, sell, and support your customers with regards to managed services. So do you feel you have the ability to promote them? If you don't feel confident in the services, like in that first question we asked you, probably not. If you feel confident in the services, but you haven't really established your, communication program, maybe it's underdeveloped. Your ability to sell managed services, I would say, unless you've generated some revenue, you're probably either not in place or underdeveloped. For those of you who have generated some revenue, you're probably in progress or ready to go. Are you selling RMR on every deal you do, or are you selling RMR on occasion or as the exception and not the rule? Those are the kinds of things that might distinguish between being in progress or ready to go. Do you have the ability to support managed services? So, for instance, if managed access control is one of the things that you want to offer to your clients, do you have the wherewithal to provide that, support when they need a change done or if something goes down, or do you have the 24/7 staff to assist? If you don't, then we can help you with our partners at the G4S Monitoring Center because they are around 24/7, 365. But if you do, that's great. In terms of the general processes, billing procedures, having, the maintenance on top of things, for if the system goes down. Are you guys ready to support the new technology packages and equipment that go along with selling managed services? So those are the questions that we want you guys to answer. Feel free in that essay box, where it gives you that space to really write a paragraph. Tell us how you feel. Tell us the truth. Tell us what you need, either from us, from your company, from your customers. How can we be of assistance to you? And what we'll do is we'll review this together. After you submit your survey, to which the link I will be emailing out at the close of this webinar session if you haven't gotten it from me yet. But you'll receive an invite from us to go and review your answers to these questions. Again, the owners of your company have had a different survey. Some of the questions are similar to this one. But what we want to do is really see, well, okay, if your owner feels that they have the contracts in place, they have the compensation program figured out, but then you respond saying, I don't know how much money I'm supposed to make. I don't have any contracts. I don't know what the language is. Clearly, there's a breakdown in communication. So that's what we're trying to identify here is what's missing or what didn't get passed along in the chain of command, and what can we do to make sure everybody's on the same page and everybody has the resources that they need to be successful, so that you can fulfill the obligations to the company you work for, and similarly, so the owner of your company can start to see that you're performing and can start rewarding you for that performance. So with that, we are now at the 10 o'clock hour. So we have just reached our 30-minute cap. Thank you all for your time today. Now, last week, for those of you who were unable to attend, we had a guest speaker. We had Donna Weisman from Susquehanna Bank presenting some of her new programs and how they can benefit you guys out there selling. The financing aspect of this, I think a lot of people feel is a card you only play if it's a customer that doesn't have much money, and who wants to have a customer that doesn't have much money anyway. So I think a lot of people kind of shrug it off. But I'll tell you that financing program can make or break your success here. Having everything in a bundled payment can truly simplify the sale, make you appear more competitive, allow you to have higher gross margins than if you were comparing everything as a line item by line item basis on a standard proposal. So I strongly, strongly recommend, if you were unable to attend last week's webinar session, let me know. I recorded it. I can send you that link. If there's anybody who you want in your company to review it, if you did attend even, let me know, and I'm happy to send you that link. And so expect an email from me today. I'm going to tweak a couple of these settings on the survey so that it works, looks a little bit smoother, like these numbers that we're looking at right here. And then I'll get that out to you all to start filling out. And then we'll schedule our time to connect and review your answers and find out what we can do to further this process along. Also next week, I will be traveling. We have a presentation. We're assisting Stanville Electric with their presentation to their campus community. They have about, I don't know, I'm guessing about 15 or 20 people from the local school districts attending, primarily I think K through 12. And so we're going to be presenting for them and educating them on how to leverage some of the latest security innovations for their benefit, specific to securing an education campus. So that's going to be really exciting. So next week we will not have a webinar. However, next week we'll replace this webinar with that interactive discussion to really review your answers to this and get you in a prime position to take the next quarter from the horn, or take it by the reins. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. You should all have my contact information by now. But thank you all again for your time. I know how valuable it is. Hope you have a wonderful afternoon. And if you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to let me know. Thanks, and have a wonderful day, everybody.